Round 7 of the Nankang MX5 Cup by 5 Club Racing has extra significance because the driver leading the championship after this round will go forward to a European semi-final for the Global MX5 Cup to be held at Laguna Seca later this year. Still all to play for, the top 4 drivers separated by just 6 points. Red lights are on and they go out. Away we go then. Jack Sycamore, it was on pole position, winner of both of yesterday's races to get himself right in contention for that prize. Will Blackwell Chambers alongside him on the grid as they head down towards Clervaux for the first time. Sam Smith there in third, Jason Greatrex fourth as they make their way through Clervaux for the first time. Number 28 is Graham Chatton. He started on row 11 of the grid, so he's got about 20 Mazdas ahead of him, including one that has spun. She negotiates safely at Hawthorne as the leaders make their way out of the chicane, and a problem there for Will Blackwell Chambers, who is dropping back. He was on the front row, he's now in about 6th or 7th position, something like that I think, as they head through Tower. There is the 31 car of Sam Smith in 2nd place. It's Jack Sycamore though that is leading. 3rd is Jason Greatrex, and we go on board now with the other Sam Smith. There were 2 Sam Smiths in this race, just to make it extra confusing. This is the Sam Smith from Newbold Verdon in Leicestershire, sampling the MX5 Cup for the first time this weekend. Lots of cars getting a little bit sideways. There is the number 29 car of Adam Bessel, who was leading the championship coming into this weekend. He's 2nd now, 2 points behind Sam Smith, 2 points ahead of Jack Sycamore. I told you it was all to play for in this race to be leading the championship after this round. And look at this, it's 2 of the leading protagonists together, and Sam Smith is going through at the complex. Has he completed the move? Yes, he has. So Sam Smith takes the lead of the race at the complex, and this could be so important in the championship. They make their way through the hairpin and on to start the second lap of the race. So it's Sam Smith, the driver from Downham Market, that now leads the race. He is on for 100 points here for the win. 97 for second, 95 for third, then 94, 93 and so on. There's a point for fastest lap as well. And that shows you just how tight this race to be leading the championship is. There is Bessel, who is seeing his hopes evaporate really. He's lost out there to Will Blackwell Chambers, who's on the fire back, and Ben Short is ahead of Blackwell Chambers, the driver that was champion last season but has been underwhelming this year. He's just had one win, ended Alton Park in the second race with a broken car, had a replacement for Brands Hatch, which didn't go quite as well, and we've not seen Ben Short on the podium since that first round of the championship. Considering he had something like 14 wins last year, that's rather amazing. Anyway, it's Sam Smith switching to the 5 Club Racing MX5 Cup for this season from the British Racing and Sports Car Club Championship. He is leading Jack Sycamore then, who had a few wins last year, on his way to 4th place in the points. 3rd place is Jason Greatrex, the Welsh driver. In 4th place it is Ben Short. 5th is Will Blackwell Chambers with the green wheels on that car, no longer running in the BS Motorsport stable. We go back on board here with Newbold Verdant Sam Smith. It looks like that is the 86 car, I think, of Daniel Stewart, who went well in yesterday's first race. He finished 5th place overall. He is just ahead of us as they make their way through the left-hander there. It may well be the car of Harry Dean just ahead as well, the blue car, the 24-year-old tyre fitter from Horncastle. Through the complex then, and down towards the left-handed hairpin on the brakes, and Sam Smith trying to make a move. It was number 7 Harry Dean. We got quite a good view of the number on the side of his car there as they turned their way through the hairpin. Meanwhile, Sam Smith in the pink car, number 31, is still leading the race then, from Jack Sycamore in 2nd. 3rd is still Jason Greatrex. I'm just looking to see how 4th and 5th place was going in the background there, whether Will Blackwell Chambers had got ahead of Ben Short. The answer to that question is yes. So the 21-year-old who enjoys scuba diving when he's not racing goes up to 4th place. He had a 3rd and a 2nd in yesterday's race behind Jack Sycamore that won both. Sam Smith was the other driver that has been on the podium so far this weekend. Looks like we might have a slightly different podium order today, unless Will Blackwell Chambers can do anything about Jason Greatrex, which is eminently possible because Will has had a pretty strong weekend. He was ruled out of the second race at Alton Park after getting involved in an incident there, and that is why he is lagging behind in the championship. Not really contention for this European semi-final prize, which is what they're all aiming for. Certainly when I spoke to Jack Sycamore yesterday, he was thinking that he couldn't do anything better. Oh, change of third place though, just to interrupt myself, because through goes Will Blackwell Chambers now, so he has got up into a podium position. We'll see if Jason Greytrax can fight back. It looks as if Ben Short might be about to try and go through as well, the driver from Mere in Wiltshire, but he's yet to go through. But I was saying Jack Sycamore didn't give himself much hope of going for this prize really, because he is fourth, 18 points off Bessel coming into this weekend. There's Bessel now. Now his results yesterday were 2 6th place finishes, and that has caused him to drop down the order. Bessel had a win in that second race at Alton Park. Now back with the two leaders, because Sycamore has not allowed the race leader Sam Smith to have any respite at all. Meanwhile, Jason Greytrax not too far behind Will Blackwell Chambers there, as they make their way towards the left and right at Jim Clark S's. Ben Short now on his own in 5th place, looks like 6th place at the moment, just going the way of number 47. Stephen Craggs, the driver from Ripon, so very much at his local circuit, going pretty well here this weekend. He's already had an 8th and a 7th, so it looks like he's improving place by place, race by race. But there is number 31, Sam Smith, who just drops a wheel on the dirt coming out of Sunny. More than a wheel, in fact. He gets all the car onto the grass, and that allows Sycamore to get alongside. Smith's keeping his foot in there, but Sycamore's going to have the line for the second part of the complex and will go back through. So Sycamore retakes the lead. A mistake there from Sam Smith. Well, that could prove crucial in terms of the championship lead battle. As I say, between these two, 4 points in it this weekend. If it stays like this, then Smith will be leading the championship. But if Sycamore gets the fastest lap, they'll be level on points, and Sycamore will be going to Spain. Smith fights back into Clervaux corner. Sycamore holds on. Now towards Hawthorne they go. Great racing as ever in the Nankang MX5 Cup by 5 Club Racing. A big grid of the cars again here this weekend. More than 20 of these Mark 1 1.6 litre Mazda MX5s, and it's such an affordable way to go racing this. You can build a race-ready car for around about £4,000. They're running on Nankang tyres, of course. The modifications are relatively limited. Now, I see that Will Blackwell Chambers in the background is homing in on the top two. He's been on the podium in each of the two races that we've had. He's had a third then a second. Is he going to go for the win this time? If so, he's got 2 cars to try and get past, and that will throw the battle for the championship lead into some confusion. Smith pushing so hard to try and find a way back past Jack Sycamore, the driver from Milton Keynes. Clip the apex, but I think they might be slowing each other up a little bit now. I think that this is helping Will Blackwell Chambers get back into contention, and I guess from Jack Sycamore's point of view, he doesn't mind this. He won't mind if Sam Smith starts to feel a bit of pressure from that blue car, which is carrying so much more speed into the complex there, and we're now in a situation where it is 3 cars for the lead as they go through the complex. And this time they are going to see the last lap board as well, and they are overlapping for second place now. Smith just about got his car fully ahead of Blackwell Chambers again. The last lap board there, you can see, is being shown to the drivers. 4th place is Jason Greytrax, but all eyes on the top 3. I've not seen an awful lot of the battling down the order, but it's just been such an interesting race up front this time. And Smith, well, at this point he doesn't need to go for the lead, because the fastest lap is with Will Blackwell Chambers. He could sit in second here behind Sycamore, unless Sycamore gets the fastest lap on the last lap, which is unlikely, and still be leading the championship coming out of this 7th and final round of this first part of the season. This part of the season that decides who goes to the European semi-final. Still another 13 races to go after this. After this weekend we go to Snetterton, Anglesey, Cadwell, Silverstone, Rockingham and Donington to round out the year. 13 races still to go, as I say, but all eyes on this battle for the lead. Blackwell Chambers a few lengths further back at this point of the circuit, as Smith, as they come towards Barcroft, is halfway alongside Jack Sycamore now, tries to stick his car up the inside for Sonny. Not really one of the favoured opportunities for overtaking on this lap. It actually is quite tough to overtake here at Croft. But Blackwell Chambers is back in it again now, so it's 3 for the lead as they come out of Sonny out. Just the complex to go. Are we going to see a change? As things stand, it's looking good for Sam Smith here. They turn their way through the left-hander. Blackwell Chambers is having a look up the inside line now as they go into the right-hand part of the complex. Oh, and there's a touch, and he's sideways, and Smith's wrestling with the wheel, and Blackwell Chambers goes through. Blackwell Chambers goes second, and Sycamore is still leading. And so out of the final corner, out of the hairpin, up to the line, Smith is not going to get back past Blackwell Chambers, and so Jack Sycamore is going to win, and Jack Sycamore is going to Spain. 3 wins this weekend for Jack Sycamore in the ultra-competitive 5 Club Racing MX5 Cup. And here is a fight further on down the order. That is the 42 car going over the line. That is Sam Smith from Newbold Verdon, who takes 10th place from Christian Young. But here's a replay of this incident. Blackwell Chambers just threw on the inside, more or less made contact with the driver's door, cannoned Smith into the tyre stack and down to 3rd place. So Sycamore took the win by about 2 seconds in the end. After all of that, Blackwell Chambers got fastest lap on his charge back through the field to take 2nd place away from Sam Smith. Jason Greatrix, Ben Short, Stephen Craggs completed the top 6, the Earthball Championship leader, Adam Bessel down in 7th. Ben Hansey there in 12th ahead of Scott Aprigliano. Dan Stewart not living up to the heights of yesterday, he was down in 14th. Paul Monteith rounding out the top 15. Another incredible race in the MX5 Cup, and you've come away from Croft with a hat-trick.
Yeah, it's unbelievable weekend. The team AB Motorsport and Haven Mobility have obviously put me together the best car, and like yesterday with the first 2 races we led every racing lap, and I would never ever have imagined that. And then today obviously Sam had the lead for a long time, but when he made his mistake, I thought I've got to get through now, and I've got to make it stick, and thankfully we did. Okay, well, Blackwell Chambers 2nd place in the end, but what an eventful race that was for you.
Yeah, it was hard work. We got pushed out on the first lap, had to cut the chicane due to self-preservation. Eventually drove back through from 5th back up to 2nd, and had a very eventful last couple of corners really.
Yeah, what happened there then, Will?
Jack and Sam were holding each other up, and I decided I'd have a little go around the outside, which then gave me the inside for the next corner, and I thought some room when I was sort of that far alongside may appear, but sadly it didn't quite when I needed it to, and there was a little bit of contact, which oddly enough the wheels popped up in the air, which are very unusual, but yeah, not really how I want to get past, but we'll see.
Okay, Sam Smith 3rd place in the end after leading for quite a bit. Must be a bit heartbroken about that.
Yeah, a bit disappointed. I was going well at the front. Unfortunately, sort of halfway through the race, the back end started to get a bit loose, and you probably saw a run off on the outside there and almost give the place away really to Jack. And then just where we were battling, I think we slowed each other up that much that Will eventually caught up. Yeah, and I thought I might be able to hold Will off right to the end there, but unfortunately he went for a move and we had a little bit of contact, but never mind.
Join us again after the break for racing from MR2s and Civics. Rounds 5 and 6 today of the Toyota MR2 Championship, which is currently being led by Jim Davies, who's had 3 wins from his 4 races so far. He leads Christian White by 19 points, and a further 7 points behind in 3rd place is Nigel Ralphson. All the cars on one grid for the first time this season here at Croft this weekend, but nevertheless still 16 rows of cars. Red lights are about to go on. It's Christian White and Stuart Nichols on the front row of the grid. As the lights go out, the race gets underway, and this big field of cars heads down towards Clervaux Corner for the first time. A good start there by Nichols, and he's got his car in front, hasn't he? A good start too by Jim Davis from the second row of the grid. Can he go all the way around the outside to take the lead of the race, I wonder? Not sure that he can quite. Oh, action in the rear half of the field. Number 5, David Hemingway in his Mark 1 off through the gravel trap. 4 Mark 1 cars on the grid this weekend, which is great to see, the most that we've seen for quite some time, and cars going everywhere here. That's Tim Heron, number 6, and was that Sean Trainer off the circuit up ahead of us as well. Well, this is the replay. This, I think, is Hemingway going off the circuit and then very nearly ending up in the barriers there. Managed to negotiate his way out of the gravel trap. Number 89 is Mick Nichols at the top of the screen on the bottom left. He's number 2, Christian White, on the bottom right. is number 88, Stuart Nichols. All of them having very different views of the start. The only one with empty track in front of him as a result of the start is Stuart Nichols. Christian White from pole position, losing quite a few places. So through the complex for the first time, this big field of cars in the Toyota MR2 Championship just goes on forever, doesn't it? They're still streaming down from Sunny Corner. There's Maxine Nichols, who we go on board with now, number 17, and she started this race in 23rd position in her roadster, one of 3 members of the Nichols family, of course. Brother Stuart and Dad Mick both competing as well this weekend, a little bit further up the order. She's got some of the Mark 1s ahead of her at this point in time. I'm sure she'll shrug those off as the race goes on, though. Through Hawthorne there is number 27, Sean Traynor, our reigning champion, and he is well down in the points. In fact, 8th in the points coming into this weekend. Did get a podium finish at Brands Hatch, should have had a win, but a jump start penalty was applied. Now there's the number 85 car of Nigel Ralston. He was a winner at Brands Hatch. He's just ahead of number 33, Alex Knight, in his Mark II MR2, one of the Rogue Motorsport prepared and run cars. But there is the race leader then, Stuart Nichols, making his way through. Number 37 there, the second of the Roadsters, that's Mike Wells, and he is a driver that finished on the podium at Donington Park, and would you believe in 4 rounds that's equated to 6 races we've had so far this year, 12 different podium finishes. That is how competitive the Toyota MR2 Championship is. Now someone locking up there may well have been Wells in 4th place actually, and there through on the inside goes, or tries to go, the number 8 car, which is Dan Aldworth. Doesn't quite work out in the end. Number 40, Lewis Ward, is there as well, and he goes through on the inside of Aldworth now, so he goes up into 5th position. I thought Aldworth was going to go 4th. He's down to 6th now, might get 5th place back here from Ward as they have their drag race along this long start and finish straight here at Croft, down towards the first corner at Clairvaux. And who turns in first? It is Ward that's got it, but only just there still, side by side. Ralphson there in 7th, Knight in 8th. Aldworth in the blue and white car, number 8, the driver from Oxford, loses out to Ward, might lose out to Ralphson as well as they go through the chicane, and there's contact between the two of them, and off in a cloud of dust onto the infield there. Very close, the racing there. We'll see if we get a replay of that incident, but there is a change of lead as well, because number 2 goes through on the inside. Christian White, who started on pole, made a poor start, goes back through. Now this is the view from on board with Nigel Ralston. Yes, just a touch there on the rear corner of Aldworth, who was unsettled by that, got out of shape on the exit, and then Ralston made contact again and went splashing off onto a big puddle in the infield. We've had a lot of rain here at Croft in the last 24 hours or so, and Aldworth able to escape, but I think Ralston more or less stuck. This is what happened with Christian White. While all of that was happening, he was trying to tow past Stuart Nichols for the lead of the race on the brakes for the right-hander at Tower, one of the best overtaking points on the lap, and we switched the view from number 88 Stuart Nichols, and there went White through on the inside. So down the straight, maybe the power, the extra power of the Mark II car telling compared to the more nimble 1.8 litre Roadster, a lighter but more modern car. So 3 for the lead. White from Nichols, from Jim Davis there in 3rd position. 4th is still Mike Wells. 5th, I think, Lewis Ward at the moment. Go back on board with David Hemingway in his Mark 1 car, doing battle with number 21, Richard Mills, in his Mark 3. Novice Cross on the back of his car. It's another one run by Rogue, as you can see from the stickers on the back of it. So this is a battle much further down the order, but no less intense than the ones going on right at the front of the field. Mark 1s, of course, running the 1.6 litre engine, 2 litre in Mark 2, 1.8 litre in Mark 3. Here's Tim Heron, number 6, 6th in the championship last year, and 6th in the championship coming into this weekend is nothing if not consistent. That's Sean Traynor, not for the first time this weekend, getting it out onto the grass on the exit of the chicane, so he is not having his happiest of races. It's quick, but a bit ragged this weekend so far. Well, Jim Davis now up to 2nd, ahead of Stuart Nichols, Looks like Christian White has made a good few lengths over Davis, the driver from Stratford-upon-Avon, who will now be hunting him down as they make their way around the double right-hander at Sunny In, then Sunny Out, and then down the straight towards the complex. It's MR2 Championship, who's having a great season, some great racing as well. We've got the two roadsters together now. Mike Wells, who want to get bragging rights over Stuart Nichols here. Lewis Ward has gone with them. Of course, Darren Aldworth departed this battle along with Nigel Ralphson. So it's now Alex Knight that is up into 6th position there. There is the number 83 car of William Gallagher, and he is the driver from Skelmersdale. Maxine Nichols has another couple of roadsters ahead of her. Good to see more of the Mark 3s and the Mark 1s out this weekend. It adds welcome variety to the grid, and one of those, I think, is the Paul Hudson car, number 19. Yes, it is. That's the car she's almost alongside now. And the other, I think, is number 4, which is Peter Higton. That's the other car involved there. Those two side by side ahead of her as they go past the pits, past the grandstand, and down towards Clervaux Corner. In fact, it's not. It's the number 38 car of Anthony Knight, I beg your pardon. Higton a little bit further up the road. Number 84 there is Chris Thomas getting involved in this as well. Now, Chris is a driver that qualified on row 4 of the grid. Has already had a problem with an off in the early part of the race, and is now trying to fight his way back up the order, so he should clear those cars. As you can see on the infield there, Nigel Ralphson out of his car, standing with the marshal, observing the racing. There's Paul Cook going up the inside of Anthony Knight there, of Alex Knight, I should say, into 6th place, but is he carrying too much speed into Sunny? No, it looks like he's got it done. And problems there. That is for Alex Knight, the driver that we were just talking about there. So Alex Knight, with some flames coming out of the back of his car, I'm afraid to say, and now smoke pouring from it as well, and the driver's spinning off, I'm afraid, as a result of that. And one of them is Chris Thomas, as he was on his recovery drive. He spins away there. Number 65 was Alan Cooper, the Wakefield driver, so the Yorkshire driver on his local circuit, not faring well there. I imagine that both of those drivers spun on oil or fluid that was put out by that number 33 car of Alex Knight. Yellow flags and the slippery surface flag out as well now. There's number 60, which is Trevor Cooper, brother of Alan, who had that moment a few moments ago. He's just behind Graham Malings, who led for a while in the last meeting at Brands Hatch. Mick Nichols at that part of the circuit gets it all wrong, and that's the 4 car of Pete Higton. I imagine he has found some oil as well, and he loops it back round between Sunny In and Sunny Out to rejoin. Meanwhile, it's all going on for the lead of the race as well now, because Jim Davis is right with Christian White, and these are the drivers that have done most of the winning between them this season. Davies has won 3 times, White has won twice. The only other race winner we've had so far this year is Nigel Ralphson. So it's the two championship contenders that are together. White has dropped more points though than has Jim Davis, who's not been off the podium yet this season. And so Davis it is with a comfortable advantage in the points coming into this weekend, but it is, as I say, only round 5 of 16 this year, so lots of racing still to do. But it's White then, number 2. Runner-up in the championship last year was the man from Maidenhead, 2 Sean Trainer. From number 11, Jim Davis in 2nd place, who's flitted between Mark 3 and Mark 2 cars over the seasons in the MR2 Championship. Green flags being shown at the exit of Sunny there after the marshals dealing with the Alex Knight incident on the way in. So through the complex comes Christian White, our race leader, then from Jim Davis, but then 3 cars in very close proximity. In 2nd, 3rd and 4th you've got the 2 roadsters of Nichols and Wells, and then you have the 3rd Mark II car, which is that of Lewis Ward. 2 leaders heading down the straight. Now there's a black and white driving standards flag being shown to somebody there, and the last lap board is out as well. I imagine the driving standards flag will be being shown to someone because they have been exceeding track limits at certain parts of the circuit. Sunny notably was a place where drivers in some races were doing it yesterday, and that caught the attention of the circuit manager, who was concerned about damage that was being done to the runoff area there. two leaders then down towards Tower Corner for the final time in this 13-minute plus 1 lap race for the Toyota MR2 Championship. About 2 or 3 car lengths in it. It's on the right hand side of the picture Jim Davis. On the inside line there was Christian White, and they are almost nose to tail coming out of the corner now. Can Jim Davis do anything in this last half a lap of this race? Through the Jim Clark S's now towards the right hander at Barcroft. Still oil flags out there, but no yellow flags anymore. So if he was minded to, Jim Davis could have a go for the lead here, but he's not close enough to make that work. White then out of Sunny on this stretch down towards the complex. So really just 3 corners to go now. Is Jim Davis going to try anything? White in the Hennessy Motorsport prepared car is leading the way, and he's got Davis crawling all over the back of him now through the right hander, now towards the left hand of the final corner of the lap. Brake lights go on absolutely together. Stuart Nichols looks as if he's going to be third, and they are almost overlapping as they come out of the corner. They come up to the line, and Jim Davis has got his foot to the floor, but he can't quite do it. And Christian White levels things at 3 wins apiece this season between Christian White and Jim Davis. Now exactly how close was it? It was about that close, 8/100ths of a second. Confirmation of that, Christian White's victory margin was less than a tenth, but Jim Davis did get the fastest lap and a lap record as well, 1:41.04. Stuart Nichols was third, winning the battle for the Roadster class from Mike Wells. 5th went the way of Lewis Ward, and 6th Paul Cook. For the back, Graham Mayling's 11th, Trevor Cooper 12th, and Gavin Aldworth 13th. A few exclusions meant that our Class A Mark 1 class winner, Nathan Harrison, was promoted up to 16th position.
A really hard fought race though, and I'm sure you enjoyed that.
Yeah, really hard battle. As I said earlier, Jim and Stuart kept me honest, so a lot of effort was going into that to keep it on the track and keep the lap times in. Yeah, a bit of a struggle throughout, but we held it.
Jim's not the easiest guy to keep behind you though, is he? He proved already in that race he can overtake, so where were the key areas you were having to defend?
Mainly into Tower over the back, sort of nerves of steel really to stop, and there's a lot of pressure there, but it's...
Really challenging track though, isn't it, Croft? Not the easiest place to overtake at, but even when you're driving around on your own, easy to make a costly error. Yeah,
it's easy to make an error, and there's a few sort of slippery patches it seems out there, and a couple of cars have gone off as well, which didn't help. Slippery flags out. So just keeping it on the tarmac. So.
Jim Davis, 2nd place, 8/100ths of a second away from a race win, but a cracking race.
Yeah, it was a very close finish. I was just trying to get the undercut on him on that last hairpin. Didn't quite manage to catch his nose coming over the start line, but very happy with the performance. It looks like I'm possibly quicker than him. Just I couldn't get the position on the track, so hopefully next time out it'll be a little bit easier.
Stuart Nichols, 3rd place finish then in race 1 at Croft. First the Class C cars home. Solid result.
Yeah, it was a solid result. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I missed the first couple of races at Donington, so I've just got to think about results. And I'm genuinely really happy with the 3rd. A 1st in class is really good. It was just a really cracking battle out there between the I think it's about 5 cars really for the lead.